I come to you today with a review of Our Doris by Charles Heathcote, which I'm sure many of you know out there as Charlie Heathcote, a booktuber, authortuber, who I watched a lot of his videos. I don't know him personally, and it's probably one of those things where if I didn't like his book, I wouldn't be coming to you with a review today. I would just shelve that information and be quiet. But spoiler alert, I really did enjoy this book. Our Doris, published in 2015. It's pretty short. I have it on a Kindle, but it's about 190 pages. And it is narrated by Harold Copeland and centers around his wife, Doris, our Doris, the most feared and scary woman of this particular English neighborhood. It is very much spoken. It's said in his. It's used. He uses his own kind of dialect. There's a very much kind of those kind of a certain kind of a British speech pattern. There's a lot of stuff like "I said to her, I said," or "She said to me, she said." It's like that kind of repetition, and just a little bit of kind of a. It's not like heavy dialect or anything like that, but it's just like you can really hear. I can actually quite hear Charlie when he speaks on his channel, and it's he's doing wool gathering and stuff. I don't think he has as deep a voice, but it's like there's a certain kind of a cadence which really he captures on the page. So what is this all about? This is about our Doris. Harold and Doris are. They're in their 70s and are quite consumed with sort of the small, well, not Harold isn't, but Doris is quite consumed with the interscene violent politics of the garden safari that is held in the neighborhood, and most specifically the placement of them on the garden safari. This is basically it's a garden tour, which living here in Victoria, British Columbia, I know about the garden tours, and I like to mow the lawn. That's all I do, and thank goodness my wife is not into gardening, really. So I know the idea of it. I know exactly how brutal it could be, because Doris is very upset that her garden. Well, it's the garden that Harold actually does all the gardening with. Doris's main function, as we see at the opening of the book, seems to be very gleefully, sadistically killing slugs. Doris is described in this book in various ways. Dracula comes up a couple of times, at least, where she's rising like Dracula from the car, and it's like I wouldn't want to meet Doris on a darkened street, that's for sure. Not with a pair of pruning clippers in her hands. That would be quite terrible. But yes, so they are number one on the tour, but Doris is like, nobody who's number one on the tour is ever going to win this thing, because of course it's about winning. And she wants the coveted number 5 slot. And indeed, most of this book is the mayhem, the violence, the tons of comedy that comes up through this book, centers around this battle between her and Violet Gray, who runs the thing, and a couple of other folks that you'll find in the thing. Now, this is very much a British comedic novel. I am grateful that I could every once in a while I would look somebody up, who's actually, and like Felicity Kendall. It's like, actually Felicity Kendall is mentioned as sort of a throwaway line. It's like she was one of the stars of The Good Life, which I actually have watched, which was a British sitcom of a couple kind of getting back to nature and horrifying their snooty neighbors as they did. And this is very much, especially in the early parts of this, I was thinking, okay, this is kind of a light sitcom kind of a thing. And so I was rolling with that. I was rolling with, okay, the Daily Mirror. Okay, what social status are you if you read the Mirror? There's a couple of things. What's an ABSO and what is it? What's the ABSO, an antisocial behavior order. There's a couple of things I had to look up, but for the most part, the book carried me along, and I was able to decode all this stuff, being an ignorant Canadian who would actually an English mother. But yeah, I was able to kind of figure out all that stuff. Yeah, at the beginning, this was a little bit, I felt like, oh, is this just going to be kind of a light sitcom with this scary kind of harridan at the front, in the middle of the story of this Doris, and you know, it's the poor put upon husband, and it's like, are you going to be is it going to be mean to Doris? But as I went along, I became more and more affectionate. You become to love Doris more and more. She becomes no less scary, no less authoritarian. There's one of the many lovely lines in the book is, her pose reminded me something of Margaret Thatcher, a woman disliked by Doris, not for her politics, but for her shoulder pads, which is Margaret Thatcher, Dracula. You kind of get the sense of Doris. But the thing is, as I went along in this book, I came to love Doris not as much as Harold. Harold married the woman, but you know, you get this genuine affection towards her, and things just get funnier and funnier. It goes from a okay kind of, at the beginning you're thinking, oh, okay, this is going to be kind of an okay British sitcom, to being at the end an amazing kind of situational comedy, and just so fun, so hilarious, with the best killer last line in the book. So I would hardly recommend you go out and try our Doris if you are interested in Charlie. It is up on Kindle for something kind of ridiculously like $3 or $4. I would recommend you get that, or if you want to stump up and you're one of those people who likes paper things, I think you can even go to his website and get the book, or you can get it at Waterstones. Well, if you're in England, you can get it at Waterstones. I guess you can get it at Amazon here, maybe. I don't know. I didn't check as a physical reader. Me being a slave to the electronic masters that is Amazon. But yeah, I really recommend this book. Awesome stuff. I'm looking forward to reading the rest of. There's more entries in the Doris adventures, and he's come out with a mystery, an heir to murder, which I've actually already bought my Kindle copy of. So I am looking forward to reading that, and it just kind of. Apparently the heir to murder is kind of a cozy mystery, and this is definitely kind of a cozy comedy, and it's like those are valuable and hard things to pull off in a nice kind of light and breezy manner. That is a total achievement. So I would totally recommend you check out Our Doris and the other stuff by Charlie Heathcote. Well, at least I'm going to do that. I've tried Our Doris, and I can give my approval and affections. All hail Doris. We will fear her and tremble before her might, or something like that, something Galadriel-ish. She kills all the slugs in our neighborhood, just the slugs. Hopefully just the slugs. Isn't going to come for the hipster doofuses next. All right, more videos later.